I heard it
Ladies,
that time.
you heard the music this time. We're off
Yes.
to a rip, roar, and start. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm Cameron. This is Brian. This is Follow Focus.
Did you say a rip, roar, and start?
Yes, I did actually. You got a problem
What
with
does
that?
that even mean?
You're ripping and you're roaring? Like, yeah, it's a rip, roaring good time.
Sounds like something you would hear in an amusement park, like in the middle of, I don't know, Pennsylvania, you know?
I've never been to an amusement park in Pennsylvania. That's a lie. I've been to Hershey World, Hershey Land, whatever it is.
Hershey Park?
Hershey Park.
Oh my
Don't they have a term?
gosh.
Hershey, but don't they have like? There's a term for like. It's like
The
Hershey's Chocolate World. Yeah, Hershey's Chocolate World.
Oh
That's what I'm
my
thinking of.
gosh. So listen, there's literally like fun. Okay, let's have a beginning of the episode quiz.
Okay, love it.
How many amusement parks do you think are in Pennsylvania? I'll give you 30 seconds so I can look up the answer again.
Just Pennsylvania. Okay. So the fact that you're asking me this very specific question makes me think that it is a ridiculously high number. So I'm gonna say 400.
There's not even 400 in the U.S.
What?
All right, I'm looking that up.
Okay.
Many
But I think it depends on how you classify amusement parks. Because like there was a tiny little amusement park back in California when I grew up called like, I don't know, Fairyland or something like that. It was like
there's 670
in the whole country?
in the whole U.S.
In the
Yeah.
whole US. Okay. So knowing that, okay, let me recalibrate them. Because I
It's
really
funny,
do
one of
think
the
it
things
depends.
says you have the choice to more than 400 amusement parks. So you made a guess that people have asked, like
Yeah.
a question that
Sure.
that's been asked.
Yeah, I feel like it's just
Okay.
like I feel like they're excluding the really tiny like hyper local ones that have like 3 rides. But
Okay.
that's fair.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if that's the case, then I'm going to say in Pennsylvania alone, I'm going to say there's 25.
Wow, that's way more than I would have ever guessed. Because I only really thought Hershey Park was it. That was the only one.
Yeah.
So there are 16 amusement parks.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I feel like I like took the thunder out of it by guessing so high, but in my defense, it was couched from the perspective of like it was very clearly leading towards like there are so many amusement parks.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like-
16 in a state like Pennsylvania, like
that's fair.
that
'Cause
seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot. Is there a Busch Gardens in Pennsylvania?
I think that's
Is
just
that one of them?
Williamsburg, Busch Garden,
I thought they had a couple locations, but I could be
Williamsburg.
wrong.
I think there's 2. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. There's Tampa Bay.
Because Florida really needed another amusement park to get added to the pile.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have like, I don't know, like the biggest theme park in the country, in Florida. Like they don't have that, so they just need more random ones. How many Busch Gardens are there? 2. Tampa,
Okay.
Florida, and Williamsburg, Virginia.
Okay. So what are the amusement parks that Pennsylvania has besides Hershey?
I just closed that tab on accident.
Oh, sorry.
One of them you'll be really disappointed in.
Oh no.
Amusement.
Is it one of the is one of them like the I've seen that theme park that is like it's like all construction equipment? Is that one of them? So it's all just like a bunch of like backhoes and like loaders and stuff that you get in and just like operate?
No.
Dang. Because that seems super fun.
Not to disappoint you at all.
I am disappointed, Brian. I'm very disappointed.
How many? I have to put how many to get back to the thing I was on? Okay. Here we go. Adventure Sports in Hershey. Carousel Village.
Carousel Village? Is that an entire park of just carousel rides?
It did have a roller coaster, but it was removed.
Because it
That's what it
wasn't.
says.
Because
I guess
the
'cause it
people
wasn't a
demanded
carousel.
more carousels.
So, how would you pronounce this? Conneaut.
Conneeaut?
Yep.
Canoe? I
Canote?
guess.
Cano? Okay, so Cano Lake Park. Uh,
Oh, it's named after a lake. Got it.
yeah. Costa's Family Fun Park. Del Grasso's Amusement Park. Dorney Park.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Brian. These don't sound nearly as kooky as I was hoping.
Dutch Wonderland.
Oh my
Per-
gosh, my heritage is so happy. I need to go to Dutch Wonderland.
it's
Please
in
tell me it's.
Lancaster. It's not that far away.
That's true. It's not. Please tell me that there are like that I can go to see
Visit
windmills
website.
and clogs and all of the wonderful things.
Oh, Cam, this is like.
Are there tulips?
Oh, Cam.
Is there legal weed?
Oh, wow, they have a really nice promo video.
Hey! Oh my gosh, we related it to video production. It only took us
Ah, that was loud. Holy crap.
6 minutes. Okay. Not a well mixed video, apparently.
I think I had it. 30 rides of all sizes.
That's
There's
a
like,
good number of rides.
they were showing like dinosaurs and Easter bunnies. Like, there's a big castle. Like, I guess that's the entryway.
Dutch Wonderland Family Amusement Park. I'm looking this up. Why is it that the image that appears when you.
Cartoon Network Hotel.
What? That is not Dutch.
It's like a. Okay, this is the most optimized website I've ever seen in my life. The tab at the top takes you to a different web page.
They're just like partner. Okay, the Cartoon Network Hotel looks
Yeah, that
wild.
looks sick. That looks awesome.
That looks amazing.
This is like the most like want to be like Disney World on a Hershey Park budget kind
Yep,
of thing.
very much so. Stay for as little
Oh,
as
cool. So
276 and visit
one of
Dutch
their other
Wonderland too.
parks is Idlewild and Kennywood. So they're in that world of things. Anyways, let's gotta keep going down the list. Hershey Park.
Wait,
We knew that.
we're leaving Dutch
We're leaving
Wonderland?
Dutch Wonderland, yeah.
No.
Hershey Park.
Okay.
You know what we should do? We
What?
should have a company trip to. This might sound a little extreme. We should have a company trip that takes us to all of the amusement parks throughout PA.
All of them.
All of them.
All 16. I will say, Kate would be thrilled with that. Kate is an absolute adrenaline junkie when it comes to coasters.
Yeah.
So she would absolutely love that.
Dallas would love it too. Okay. Fun for All in Cranberry Township. That sounds
We're
like
still going. Okay.
that
Cool.
sounds like something I would see. I won't say it out loud. Kennywood. Nobles. Lakemont Park. Outer Limits Adventure Park. Not USA.
Yep.
Sesame Place. Whoa. This looks crazy. What the heck? This is like the playground you would want all your childhood. Dang, this place is massive.
What's this? Which one are you on now?
It's called Sesame Place.
Is it Sesame Street themed?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it is. Whoa, this looks incredible.
Look at the map.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's like a real park.
Okay, this actually looks incredible. And it's like
Anyways,
an
last
official.
but not least, Waldemere.
Waldemere. Okay, I'm very sorry, but Sesame Place kind of stole your thunder, Waldemere. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Cookie Monster has a coaster.
It's crazy how all of these like park websites look the same.
Yeah, they kind of do. They found a template that worked for them, and
yellows,
they roll with
oranges, and purples, and that's about it actually.
it. Yeah, I mean, you have to hand it to them. They have very consistent marketing. Which, if I pull the handbrake on this car that's been driving down this road for the last 10 minutes, and we do a real sharp turn, we can segue into what we were going to talk about.
Which was not amusement parks.
Not amusement parks, but kind of related, kind of at a very big stretch. Marketing.
marketing.
But specifically, because so a lot of what we do for work is marketing for other businesses. Um,
Marketing and branding.
Marketing and branding, and like we do social media, we do video production, we do websites. That all kind of falls under the umbrella of marketing. But it's funny when you start looking at marketing your own business.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of, I found it to be a very sort of like physician heal thyself kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so you're a marketing company that advertises your marketing stuff, but you're so busy that you can't market.
Honestly,
That
that is such a, ain't that the truth, man, though? Like
is
seriously.
like word for word our spiel. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I mean that's the case I think with anyone who is a business owner. You will find that eventually you get to a point where when your business starts doing well, you no longer have time to market it and cause it to grow.
yeah,
Like you hit that
yeah,
point eventually. Like when I first started when I started Harris Makers, which was my solo video production
trash.
company.
Sorry,
I mean, compared to
it's
what we're
not
able to do
trash,
now, it was
dude.
not trash, but it
It
was a
was
lot
not
smaller.
trash.
Thank you. But
It's
even
only
so,
been
it
a
was,
month.
yeah. God, has it only? Yeah, since the paperwork went through it, yeah, you're not wrong. But like when I first started it, it was like, I didn't have very much work because I was
Yep.
still, I was brand new. I was still getting my contacts spooled up and all that. So I had plenty of time to be like, cool, I'm gonna make blog posts and I'm gonna record videos and I'm gonna
How'd that
post.
go?
Like, I mean, it lasted for like 2-3 weeks of doing
Good
that
job, man.
consistently. And then it was like, okay, it worked. I've got work now. And, obviously when it comes to, okay, what are you going to prioritize during your day? You're going to prioritize paid client work, or you're going to prioritize doing your social media
Personal
stuff.
stuff.
It gets really difficult. So that is one thing that I will say has been really beneficial of there being two of us. Um, that's
Just the
huge.
two of us.
We can make it if we try, and we are trying, so we will make it. But I think to your point, the fact that we are marketing ourselves as a marketing company, we've got to be a little more creative about it than most, I think.
I agree, and I think so far we've taken an approach of we really do it like the old school way. Like if social media and technology and even the internet, if it was in its infancy, like
Mm,
that is how we are marketing right now. You know, where we're really we've created a product on our website that shows our branding, shows the work we've done, and all the cool things. But you and I are out in the world selling it essentially at networking events and directing people to the page, and they're like, "Holy crap, these guys have cool things." We're not saying
mm,
like, "Hey, check out my Instagram and look at my work." It's, "Hey, here's our website. It has examples of like our highest quality work and what we provide for our clients." And also our brand is a purple donut, and you're gonna love it.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
the
our
visual.
clients and our people that we network with love the brand before they even think about doing work with us. So it's and every networking thing we've gone to, it's been like, "Oh, you're a bakery," or "Hey, like, um, did you bring any donuts for us?" Or like, "I'm gonna." They literally word for word, not even like putting words in people's mouths. They're like, "I'm gonna remember your brand just by the logo. Like, you don't even need to tell me. Like, I just see the donut and that's it."
Yep.
I'm like, that's literally what we were going for.
Yeah. Compare that to Harris Makers. No one remembered the name Harris Makers.
Yeah. Yep.
And like, admittedly, at the time when it's just you kind of are your brand. Like no one knew the name Harris Makers, but they knew me,
Yep.
So I kind of was the brand. I didn't want it to be like that it was a sole proprietorship. I had the idea of it being like a team based thing at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it just never the name did not help.
Yeah,
And
no, not at all.
yeah, so when you've got this was something that when we were branding Purple Donut before we had the name for it, that was something you were really gung ho on, was the idea
Yeah,
that you wanted it to work visually. You wanted a name that lent itself to a visual marketing style, a great logo, something that could be recognizable even without the name.
yeah, yeah. Without the name and without us being there,
Yeah.
if we were to place, our sticker somewhere or something, and
Hmm.
even if people don't know our brand, they're like, okay, that's interesting. Like, what does it? And they will say, what is a purple donut? Like, what's the purple donut mean? Or like, they don't just say, what's that circle on your shirt, with a play button. They say the purple donut, and instantly that is brand recognition and great branding, especially if people are going to remember it and think of it when it comes to like anything that we've talked to them about, right? So even people we just have conversations with, if they think, you know, video production, advertisement, social media management, like they are going to associate that with the purple donut
Hmm.
because of how brand recognizable and notable the purple donut is.
Yeah. It's worked really, really well. It's worked better than I would have even hoped that it would.
Yeah, you didn't even want the name, Cam. So
I wasn't sold on the word donut specifically. Once we hit purple donut, that clicked it for me. I don't know why, I don't know what the difference was, but it made a difference. Um and to your point also of you mentioned stickers. Stickers have been a big thing for us.
yeah,
Um
literally, we had stickers before we had an official business.
we literally did. Yeah. We had business cards too. But
Yeah,
so that's our media kit of stuff that we use to market. You've got the core stuff. We've got business cards, which are, you know, they're lovely, they're pretty. It's got the donut on them, but there's nothing incredibly special about them. Um, there's no QR codes. They don't fold out and become anything crazy. It's just a bog standard business card. And then we've got the stickers, which are we've got two versions. There's 2.5-inch stickers, something like that, of just the donut. I've got one. Yeah, here. I've got one here.
hold
Um,
up.
got these guys. So it's a nice size. For those of
Yeah,
this,
buddy.
this is great radio for those of you who are listening instead of watching. But you know what our logo looks like. It's on the artwork. So imagine that, just 2.5 inches and a sticker. Um, and we've handed those out. We've plastered those all over our gear, so whenever we're going out, we've got shirts too. That was a new thing that you really spearheaded, and those have been fantastic,
Yeah,
especially for networking stuff. But when we're out on shoots and stuff, our equipment is fully branded, so you got to work to not know who we are
yeah,
when we roll
literally.
up.
One of our one of our names. I just looked up donut on my phone and I just scrolled all the way to the last or the first thing. One of our names was Sprinkled Donut Creative.
Oh gosh, you still have the doc
I
that
had
it's all.
those. No, I had
Wow.
the text messages.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No,
Sassy
that's
donut, warm donut, donut warmer,
donut warm. Warm donut felt so weird to me. I don't know why. It just felt wrong. It did not
sprinkled
feel good.
donut, crispy donut, shrunken donut, greasy donut, fried
Sh-
donut.
I do not remember shrunken donut.
It's in a list.
Whew.
And then
Oh gosh.
before before okay, so the name we were 75% ready to commit to was Can't Stop Creatives.
Yes, we had that.
Can'tStopCreative.com. And then I said the only thing I'm having with CSC is maybe it's too long of a word.
Hmm.
I think if we want to have a longer name, it should be something funny. And this is before Donut even came up. Golden Goose, rotten egg, silver spoon, like something that people will recognize and
Yep.
remember. That is literally what I said at 9:44 a.m. on April 24th.
Yep. I remember that. And
And
I remember those examples that you gave, and that was a
yeah,
big like. Which at
and
first I
then
was like, fairy tale stuff. That's where we're
the
going with this, I think.
next thing I said is something like those names gives us branding. And then the
Mm.
next text was Kate is a fan of Donut Creative. Also, Kate is texting because I'm driving up.
Yep. Yeah.
And then in here, I just read it. I saw. How'd you feel about donut ideas? You said I thought the donut idea was kind of silly at first, but I'm warming up to it. And that's when I said warm donut media.
That makes sense.
And then we had a phone call that was like one of our first like super long phone calls, like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And after that I went to Panda Express. I got that cool fortune from Panda Express.
Oh yeah.
It was the one in our video. A
Yeah.
challenging and fascinating project is in your future.
Yep.
And then I sent you palettes of the purple color.
Yep.
And there it went.
There it went. Yeah. So technically, the only reason that donut became a thing was because Kate, my wife, had suggested that as a word. She liked it. I was really not. It didn't. I was like, oh no, we're not a bakery. Like
Nope.
it just doesn't really make sense to me. But she liked it so much that so I was driving. We were both driving into DC because I had a shoot and Kate was going into the office. And so we were driving down to DC. You and I had been texting, so we shifted to Kate was just texting for me. She had my phone
Mm-hmm.
while I was driving. And then she just without checking with me, just sent the donut over to you, hoping that it would
Donut
stick, I think.
creative. I
And it
was like,
worked.
I like that, but maybe I think I said we need to have an adjective or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, is that the word? Is that the right word? And that's when we started throwing out all the crazy donut stuff. So at the beginning of us even having the conversation of business names, like when we started to nail it down, I instantly was like brand recognition, like it has to have something that the name is the brand, like
Hmm.
or the branding. And like I even told you after we decided on purple donut, I was like, I want t-shirts with the purple donut on there. And I don't want it to say Purple Donut Studios because I just want people to know what it is. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to tell them what it is unless they want to ask us. And then if
Yeah.
they ask us, most of the people that have asked us have been sold. Like they are sold on some sort of service that we do or are like are warm, are
Hmm.
warm leads to us. Like
They are warm
just be
donuts.
just warm donut. Just because of the brand. That's it.
It's been a huge thing. I mean, we have literally one of our more recent clients, we met at a networking event and they literally flagged me down. It's like I was like walking past them in a big, it was one of the bigger networking events we've gone to. There were easily a few hundred people there.
Literally the biggest one I've ever gone to. I
Yeah.
don't know if that multi-chamber and at Musket Ridge was bigger, but
Probably some. I think it was about the
same.
same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
which is crazy. Yeah, they flag you down.
yeah. So I'm walking past them on my way to like I don't know, I'm just like mingling and
Yep.
they literally flagged me down and were like, "What does purple donut mean? Like what is it you guys do?" And at this point, this was before we had shirts. We didn't have any like I didn't have anything of the logo on me. I
No sort
literally
of
just had
recognition. Yep.
yeah, it was literally it was the name recognition from my name tag that had my name in
Mm-hmm.
big letters and then Purple Donut Studios in little letters underneath. So
Yeah.
like that in plain small font on a name tag was enough to catch someone's attention and make them curious about what it was we did.
And now they're a client,
And now they're a client.
which is
And
crazy.
which
Just
is
from the name tag.
absolutely insane. And honestly, like I would never have thought that it could be the name could have that much staying power and have be that effective.
And
Like
it's only July 1, like
Yeah.
and we've already hit some goals that I don't even think we could have even imagined,
Yeah.
in the sense of getting clients, the type of consistent work we're doing, the agencies that we're doing work for, like,
Yeah. The partnerships
the,
that we're developing, yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
pretty,
been
it's pretty impressive.
it honestly is. I've been thrilled.
Yeah.
And um I will say, like, the name is huge. The logo and the branding in general has been really great. Like, we look really different,
Mm-hmm.
which, I'll be honest, I was a little worried about. Not worried about, I was slightly uncomfortable with, because my default is, like, if you look at the Harris Makers website, which is still up, um, harrismakers.com, that looks more like a very, like, standard video production agency
Yep.
website. Like, it's good, it's cool looking, but it's that very kind of modern minimalist, like, kind of contrasty, dark and moody colors.
Yeah, of
Like, I
course.
mean,
Yeah.
I literally, like, was looking up when we built that website. I was looking up, like, other creative agency and video production agency websites, and just kind of basing the whole structure and layout and general vibe off of those, because I was like, I like this vibe. This is what I want to go with.
Mm-hmm. And
Shifting.
most of those, last, I guess, thought on that, most of those websites and most of the brands are like exactly like you say, dark, moody, like black and white sometimes, like
Mhm.
not creative, colorful, tasteful, or anything like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, your the Harris Maker website absolutely was a good website. They had great stuff, and
Mhm.
I think you literally just relaunched it like a month before we actually started like having this conversation.
I relaunched it in January, so we got a few
Oh,
good
okay.
months out
So
of
we
it.
met.
Yeah.
We met when you were relaunching. Okay.
Yes, I think literally
Yeah.
around the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole take on, if you haven't seen the Purple Dot website, it's pretty dope.
And it
Um,
and it looks super different.
it's like tastefully like extra at this, like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
it's so like unique and creative and like in your face, but at the same time it like slows and makes sense.
Hmm.
So it's like the perfect combination of like, okay, this stands out, but it's not like punching you in the face. It's just sitting in front of your face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, that's how it makes me feel, which is exactly what we want.
Yeah. I mean, like, the main background color for the whole website is this, like, kind of tan beige cream color.
Mm-hmm.
The color of, it's in the logo, it's the color of the actual, like, unfrosted part of the donut, like,
Yep.
the actual, like, dough part. And that is kind of a departure in this day and age. Most
Yeah.
websites, it's like you've either got, like, a white background, or you've got, like, some kind of dark, like a navy blue or something.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, just the purple. Just being purple by itself is an unusual brand color. A lot of brands, myself included, I gravitate towards blue as a color, and man, there are so many brands that just, like, they go blue. It,
Yeah, and
it
it's like a hard blue. Like, it's just blue everywhere. Text is blue sometimes, on the blue. It's like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and, like, it can blue be done well? Absolutely, it can. But I think just the fact that we are going in so many, like, different directions that still look good,
Yeah.
but are not. We don't look like every other website out there. And I think that was when I built the Harris Maker. I say I built. My wife Kate built that thing. She built the Harris. She
Okay.
built the Purple Donut website too. But the, like, design that I really was gravitating towards was a very, uh, I almost want to say, safe um, design, because it was like the idea was, hey, look at what all these other agencies look like. I want to be like them. I want to look like them.
Yeah.
And And what we've gone after is more of the like, no, we're gonna make our own identity, and it's gonna be unique, and it's gonna make sure we stand out. And it's worked really, really well thus far.
Yeah. And I think a big takeaway for people that, you know, are listening and might be like, okay, how does this make any sense to me and my branding is like, take that like Kate's done tons and tons of websites before. She knows like what elements work where and like the structure and plans and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing that's unique about it is we took some of the structure and knowledge and things that we've learned over time or seen that were inspirational and stuff like that. And we didn't just make it black and white. And we didn't just make it like, okay, like if we're red, white, and blue, like just our logo is red, white, and blue, and then we have white, as our background and black for our text. Like we use the branding and the color all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
but not like purple being the background would have been ridiculous. Like we have a great secondary, like neutral secondary color. Like if
Yeah.
you can either rebrand yourself or find something in your brand that works that way, like literally just peep our website and like take inspiration off of that because our website is great.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with knowing what rules of what like every other website uses or every other logo or brand or whatever. Know what rules you can and cannot break, or
Yeah.
can and should not break. Um, because like you said, like if we had said like, okay, the whole website is purple, would have
Would
would
look
have
terrible.
it would not have gone very well. We have like a really cool like sprinkle texture uh that I'm a big fan of, that's on our cards, it's on a few places on the website. It is not the
Mm-hmm.
entire website.
Yeah.
It is used as an accent.
It's all
Um
tasteful.
yeah. And like there are elements of that design that like, Kate's working on a few websites for new clients literally as we speak, and they are not other creative agencies. I think for us, people might say like, "Oh, you're a creative agency. Of course, you're going to have like a way more fun and interesting website." But it's like if I'm an accountant, or I'm a chiropractor, or
Yeah.
whatever. You're not in a creative field, so you feel like you need to stay like kind of in a more safe and kind of more neutral space. I think that's true to a point. um you need people to like trust you. Not that like they don't trust us, but it's like they trust us because we're creatives, we have a creative website. If you're an accountant and you've got like, oh, we're purple donut accounting, that might not go over as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll
But I'll
you'll
tell you
get
one
you'll get
thing.
your couple people.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though, it'd be memorable.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so I think figuring out like, okay, what's the element that you can lean into, the fun color, the kind of interesting logo or name, something that
Mm-hmm.
like is a little bit more interesting. Um and I like I feel kind of funny whenever we talk with people. There's one guy in particular is a local agency guy who his logo has like um it has like 5 different colored segments in the logo. And he had this whole story about how it related to um oh, what's the name? It's not Power Rangers, although it's similar colors. It's a not Zoltar. Zoltar's the fortune teller from Big. Zoltron? Voltron? The oh gosh, that is really
Voltron. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Voltron.
Voltron's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, and how it was like these colors represent all the different pieces coming together, like Voltron, to create an effective strategy and stuff. And I was like, that's awesome. That's super cool. We picked Donut because we liked how it sounded.
Literally. That
And like,
everybody was like, how'd you come up with the name? We're like, well, we had names and we didn't like them. And then we said donut and then we added purple and then we liked it.
yeah, it was the name that stuck to the wall and was available. That was the other big
Yeah,
factor.
yeah, available was a big thing.
available as in like what URL can we get
Mm-hmm.
that works with this thing? Because
Yep.
there were other ideas that we had, certainly ideas that I had that I never even like sent your way. Because before I did, I was like, before I get anyone's hopes up, let's make sure we
Let
actually
me check.
could use this
Yeah.
thing. Because man, that is a difficult thing to do. It's getting harder and harder every day to find a new
Better
URL.
get on it.
Yeah, like
If you're
unless you
listening
go
to this
for
and you don't have a brand, you gotta figure it out.
seriously. I mean, I remember
Ask the experts.
I used to think like, oh man, like when I was when I was in college and I got my name as a URL, I couldn't get CameronHarris.com. That was taken by an architect up in Canada. Um,
Canada.
yeah. So I ended up being CameronHarris.info, which had its difficulties, but it worked. It was fine. But I remember thinking at the time, like, man, everyone, like, when they're having kids nowadays, they should come up with a name that's available as a
And they
domain
buy
name.
the domain.
And get the domain name when you like pick the name for your kid and then just hold on to it for them.
Oh man.
It's a lovely idea. I don't think that's physically possible to do anymore. If it's just your
Yeah.
name, good luck. You better have a
Yeah, somebody
really,
already
really
has it.
unique name.
Yeah.
It's like, why, Dad? Why am I named to? Why am I named this crazy name? Well, because it wasn't taken. It was the most normal sounding name that was still available as a .com. Yeah, maybe that's why Elon Musk names his kids what he does.
BrianMundo.com is just in an infinite loading loop.
Really? Does
Yeah.
that mean it's available? Hold on. Let's check. Because you're lucky because you spell Monday wrong.
There's a lot of Brian Mondays.
Yeah. .com is taken.
Interesting.
.com is taken. .info is available if you want to be an info. There's the whole like
Oh.
.me. All these like so I
I think the site
understand.
can't be reached. That's crazy.
So they haven't even parked it properly. That's disappointing.
It's sad.
All these other top level domain names that are like, and by that I mean like the dot. So it's like your .com, your .edu, your
Yeah.
.net. There's a billion of them now. Like it used to be there were like 6, and now there's like you can get .io and .ai and .me and .info and .art,
TV.
.tv, .video, and all these things. I am not a huge fan of them, frankly.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's something in the whole SEO process of it too that's like does the Google no way Google recommends things with .tv other than like twitch.tv. You know,
Yeah,
like
.tv is one of the few that has like actually become somewhat mainstream. .io, I think, actually has become
I've played some .io games.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like there are a bunch of like software as a service places that are like .io,
Yeah.
um, but for the most part, it's like you see it, and the thing is like if you're looking at a business card and it says .art, if you say like purple donut .art, your mind does not go to it being a website
Yeah,
URL.
my first thought is not let me look at these guys on the internet. Like
Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah.
need then you like okay, then you got to put the wwws in there, but even then it just feels weird to me. And I think a lot of other people feel the same way. If it's all you can get, more power to you. And I think there are exceptions like .com is I think great. .tv could work. We thought about doing a .tv
Hey,
for Purple Donut.
TV was on there. Yep.
Um I don't know if there were any other domains we looked at, but like .io, .ai. One of the weirder ones that I know of actually, which actually I have had trouble with. So we use Notion for like,
Oh yeah, good old
database
Notion.
project management stuff.
Notion
There
SO.
.so, Notion
Yeah.
.so. I don't know why. I don't know why they picked that instead of IO, or like maybe it just wasn't taken. I mean, Notion is just a word. I'm curious if you go to Notion. That's crazy. Notion.com works. It redirects to
The SO.
Notion.so.
Wonder what SO is.
I don't
Because
know.
the suffix means things, right? Like it mean there's like There used to be like a whole thing where it like actually meant something. That was the purpose of it.
Okay, so a lot of these are actually country codes. So there's like, you know,
Yeah, like DE and
DE is Germany, and like there's
yeah,
code.uk. I don't know why Britain got two of them. SO is Somalia. So
there's Somalian company.
it's funny. There's actually a so there's actually a thing on the Notion subreddit. It says why the .so domain.
Oh God.
Uh, oh my gosh. So this was 4 years ago. So Notion was still like relatively new on the scene. Um, but he said that apparently his work blocked all .so domains,
So you couldn't get it?
so he couldn't get to Notion.so. um, and they actually said there's an official response saying sorry about that. We chose .so when we were starting out. There were lots of other companies named Notion, and .so was the only thing available.
Wow. So where are they based out of?
I think they're a USA based company. And it says, does it help that we own Notion.com now? Automatic redirect for now, but we'll be switching to .com as soon as our engineering team has the bandwidth.
So they never had the bandwidth.
Literally all the comments. This comment was 4 years ago, and there's just like a thing of like 4 years ago he posted that thing. 2 years ago, someone said, "Any update on this?" 1 year ago, lol. 3 years later, and still no bandwidth.
Now you have to go in there like, hey, we're on a podcast talking about this right now, and there's
4 months
still no
ago, still
change.
redirection only in March 2024.
That's
uh,
awesome.
that's amazing. So they must have
Uh,
like once they started getting like a profit, they must have been able to pay whatever bartering fee there was to like get the .com domain. But
and
there's
then just
still,
never change it.
I mean, it redirects because like when
Yeah.
I go to Notion, I go to Notion.com. I
Yeah.
half the time I don't even notice that it redirects. Frankly,
I think mine's saved as Notion SL. So
well,
just
yeah, I think if you save it, like unless you manually type in .com,
yeah.
it's gonna use .so. Um, that's so funny though, because yeah, it's funny. Like, I wonder if like are these other ones that you think of like .ai and .io, um,
Yeah.
is that actually a country code, or did someone actually uh .io? They're all country codes. They don't actually mean like IO, like in out. It is technically associated with the British Indian Ocean Territory.
So when I play the game Slither.io,
You're actually
it's
playing Slither
dot
British
Indian
Indian Ocean
Ocean.
Territory.
Wait, that's it? Oh
uh
my god.
.ai, that's the other hot new one because of like AI
AI, yeah.
stuff everywhere. .ai is the country code domain for Angui Ang Anguilla, a British overseas territory in the Caribbean.
Oh, so you're a Caribbean guy, huh?
If you've got .ai, yeah,
What's the difference between the Caribbean and the Caribbean?
pronunciation, I think.
That's crazy.
I
So
think
this whole time it could be the Pirates of the Caribbean.
there are people who say that. Those people are strange, and I don't trust
Hmm.
them. But
Hmm.
there are people who say that.
I always thought it was like different.
I mean, I don't think there's a different spelling. I think it's just you put
A
the
Caribbean
emphasis on a
and a
different
Car.
syllable.
Yeah, the emphasis and syllables, man.
Uh huh. Crazy. So yeah,
Caribbean.
all that to say, pick a good domain name. Try to get a .com if you can.
Get a .com. Get cool colors. Get a cool brand. Get a cool website. Get a cool advertisement video. All from a company that we know.
We do know. We are
Yep.
familiar with them.
They can do all that stuff.
.com meaning
.com.
hold on. Is .com also a country code?
No, .com is not a country code.
It can't be.
.com is like,
Nope. It's a generic top level domain.
yeah, it's like the first one.
Now here's a question for you.
.gov, .com, .edu, .net.
.co is Columbia.
Yeah, Co is Columbia.
Oh yeah,
Told you.
.net. Hold on. Is .tv a country
Not
code?
TV. It's a country code.
It,
It's gotta be.
it's for Tuvalu.
Tuvalu.
Tuvalu. Oh my
So
gosh.
Twitch was just like, okay, there's a country code that we can use that's TV. And it has no reason or meaning other than Tuvalu. And that's what we're gonna use.
You know, I feel really, I feel really bad for the guy who came up with. He was like, okay, I'm gonna come up with all of these like country specific codes, and then like you'll know if a website is German, it's .de, and if it's
This
Tuvaluvian.
guy was like, this was like when the government had the internet in the 70s, and they were like experimenting with things, and they were like, okay, we're gonna hire this specific guy that had this specific task to make sure that everything is cordial, and like it probably was like a pre-NATO thing, being like, okay, every country's gonna have their own thing and they're gonna stay in their own lane.
I mean, I
And
could kind of see like the closest like equivalent that they had at that point would have been like international phone numbers, and you had country
wow,
codes.
very country code. So that could totally have made sense. And then that guy did all that dedicated work just for teenage Twitch streamers to be using Tuvalu's
So
internet code.
Tuvalu's. Yeah, some guy was like, wait a second, Tuvalu looks like television.
Ha ha ha.
Uh,
Yeah. Wow. Where did we just go?
what a
That was
that
a
was
crazy
quite
tangent there.
that was one of our better ones though, you got to admit. That was
Yeah.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so before we get any further off track, um I want to switch gears and I want to talk about the things that we have like learned or figured out or whatever this week, the big things that were like new things for us this week. And mine is related to the marketing thing.
Related
So
to Tuvalu.
it is sure. Does Tuvalu have 3D printers?
Has
I
to.
assume potentially. So this has to do with 3D printers. I got a new 3D printer,
Where is
which is
Tuvalu?
yeah. Where is Tuvalu? I don't know. I got a
Can't
new
make
3D
it.
printer. This was I think this was maybe 2 weeks ago, but it's like been actually like going in force this week. I've been into 3D printing for a long time. I had an Ender 3, which is like one of the more it's not a DIY kit, but it's like it's very moddable and hackable. So like there are very few original parts on my Ender. And eventually just got to the point where I was like, okay, this thing is kind of like it's working, but every time I want to do anything with it, it's like I don't have the time to have it be a tinkering project, if that makes sense. I need it to actually just work, so I can like finish some of these projects and like get stuff that I need out of it. So one of the features of my new 3D printer is that it can print in multiple colors. You can just have multiple
Ooh.
spools, and it can like
Oh.
feed stuff in. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the peanut
Peanut
gallery.
gallery.
And you know what else has multiple colors is our logo. So
Hmm.
so I had the idea more as like a kind of like this would be fun kind of idea than anything else to 3D print a multicolor donut that was like our logo. And
Wow, you don't have do not disturb on.
I
Crazy.
apparently don't, but you just texted me a screenshot of I assume Tuvalu.
That's Tuvalu, dude.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great.
It does. Looks tiny.
I know, it's literally like just a strip of island. Anyways,
And they get a whole subdomain.
yeah, literally Twitch stole their domain.
Crazy. Poor Tuvalu, man. They should
I feel bad. We should
they,
start a GoFundMe.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for poor old Tuvalu.
Yep.
Um, so I printed a multicolor version of our donut that was probably like I don't know about like yay big, like 3 inches maybe across. And you then had the genius idea. You said, "Hey, this is super cool,
Super cool.
but what if it was smaller and we could give them out?" So this is kind of
Miniature.
miniature donuts. So this is kind of our newest off the wall marketing strategy. which is, so I'm gonna see if I can actually, if you have video, you can see this, and I'm gonna actually adjust my focus. Hey, look at
Oh, too
that!
far.
Oh, too far, too far. Hold on, I'm doing this on the app. It's not the most responsive
Uh,
thing in the world.
you froze, so I can't see it.
Oh, I'm still here.
That's
There we
close
go.
enough.
There we go.
Look at
So,
that.
so look at that thing. It's like the size of like maybe an Oreo. Um,
Oh, that sounds good.
yeah. So that is just raw 3. There's no painting. It's in like the different
3D
colors, and
printer.
kind of see how I think it is. The thing that I added was if you flip it over, it actually has. I don't know how well you can see that on video, but it actually has our URL, purpledonutstudios.com, kind of embossed into the back.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we've only had these for a week maybe, and we've been to like one networking event with them, but they were a huge hit.
Yeah. It circles back to the everybody always asks us for donuts.
Mm-hmm. And now we
And
can be like, yes, we have a donut.
I gave out like 3 of them the other day, and the one lady almost cried because of how cute it was. It was the whole
Yeah,
thing. The
yeah.
whole thing.
And the crazy thing is like, so yeah, they're like, you have to have a 3D printer. I mean, you could order these from a place that does like has like a print farm, but so you have to have a 3D printer. But once you have one, um, I can actually tell you. So the printer actually gives you an estimate of the cost of whatever you
Oh,
print,
that's cool.
which factors in both like the material, the filament that you print it with, and electricity, because that's a thing with these printers.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're electric.
I print a batch of, how much do I do? I think I could fit more. I could probably fit 36 on this print bed, but I print 24 at a time. And 24 of these things costs us $3.24. So they're pretty cheap. Once you get over the fact that you have to own a 3D printer and you have to
Yeah.
like design your logo and all that stuff. But then it's like, that's what,
30s.
13 and a half cents apparently
Yeah.
is what my calculator says for each one of these. And I mean, that might be cheaper than some of our business cards, frankly.
Literally. Actually.
Yeah. So, yeah, is that something that like works for everyone? No, but this has been it was just a fun thing to do. And again, you want to stand out. Like,
Yeah.
people go home from a networking event and they've got like 50 business cards in their pocket, and then they've got this.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
it doesn't replace the business card,
No.
but like they see the donut and they're like, man, those guys were really, really fun to talk to, and they've got a great brand, and oh yeah, we talked about this type of stuff. So actually, these are people I'll reach out to
Yeah.
versus like the same looking template gray business card with red white writing and black subtext, and yeah,
Yeah. I will say, at the very least, make it so your business card isn't white. Like, go for something full color.
rounded corners
We had this
and
conversation.
gloss and extra thick. Like you have to have the thick card. Like
Ours could
yeah.
be thicker, I will say. It
Yeah,
could
I
be.
agree. It could be thicker, but it hits 2 out of the 3.
It,
Like
it hits 2 out of the
it
3. Yeah.
hits the glossy and it hits the rounded corners, and it's also beautiful.
It really is. I'm catching
Yeah.
I'm like trying to kind of Vanna White it a little bit and catch some of the light, get some highlights on it.
Did you see Vanna White retired?
Did she really? I mean,
Yeah.
I knew, what was it, Pat Sajak? I knew he retired. I didn't know she went out with him.
Didn't he die?
No, he retired. You're thinking of
I know Bob
uh
Barker died.
you're thinking of Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek,
Alex Trebek did.
he
Yeah.
he passed away. That was a couple of years ago, I think.
Mm. Rest in peace.
Changing of the guard.
Where did Pat Sajak go?
He just retired.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, maybe Vanna White didn't retire.
Did you're gonna make me look this up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Did Did Vanna White retire? Is the top suggested. No. She
Oh,
is not leaving Wheel of Fortune. However, don't be surprised if she announces her exit soon.
yeah, there was a whole, like, I had a whole TikTok, like, day of, like, memories uh, of the whole show and the two and the whole thing.
Wait, Ryan Seacrest is going to be hosting Wheel of
Yeah.
Fortune?
Yeah. He's the new host.
Does Ryan Seacrest not have enough shows?
Yeah, well, I think he does them and then they like eventually die and then he's just on to the next one.
But like, how does he record all this stuff? Because like, he's like
Listen,
hosting whatever morning show, and he also is still doing his radio show at the
listen,
same
if
time.
Rob Deerdeck can do a year's worth of episodes in like a month, Ryan Seacrest can do 5 shows.
It's insane. I saw an interview with Emerald from from Emerald, Emerald Live on Food Network way back in the day. He said they recorded 8 shows in a day.
Yeah. Well, that's like now Ridiculousness is like a 20-minute show. So
Sure.
like he literally works 1 month or 2 months out of the year, whatever it is. So they will record for 2 months and they will have an entire year's worth of content.
I respect that. Like,
Yeah.
as content
And he's like,
producers, we know you batch that stuff.
yeah.
Economy of
Oh,
scale is
we
real.
don't batch our podcast, that's for sure.
We don't. We should though.
We did a really good job at the beginning.
We did such a good job, and then
We
we
were
got
like,
busy. and now
literally.
it's 10 p.m. the night before this is gonna go live, and we're recording this.
Yeah. And that's totally fine, you know?
It is totally fine. On that
Yeah.
note, I would like to hear what your
Oh, yeah.
your little thing from this week, so we can wrap this
So
up and I can get this edited before midnight.
it's a combination of learning slash, since we didn't really do gear today, combination with some gear, right?
Love it.
So we've had, well, Kim has never had or doesn't have, but I have a Atmos Ninja 5, and
Yes.
that is my monitor. I used it for external recording. It was like a whole thing back when I had an S5 and all that fun stuff.
Aha! You aren't on Do Not Disturb either. I heard the ding.
That's funny because I was through my headphones.
I still heard it.
Well, of course I'm not on Do Not Disturb. Why would I be on Do Not Disturb? What a sidetracker. Like, of anybody in this podcast, like, you just sidetrack all the time. Anyway, so I have an Atmos 5, and we wanted to... I guess it wouldn't be upgrade. I think it would be, like, suit our needs and wants more, you know?
And there was an element of future proofing because we were looking at, so we've been toying with the idea of having a wireless viewing station for a while. We had a whole episode we talked about the idea of like getting those cheap HDMI transmitters from Amazon.
Yeah, the transmitters, it's like $100 for the pair. And,
yep.
Or one transmit, one receive, and that kind of stuff. And we thought about it, and we were like, okay, let's just spend the extra $150 to get a true, like, wireless monitor. And we landed on the, what is it, the Hollyland Mars M1 Enhance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And did you hear it that time?
I didn't hear it that time.
And essentially, the monitor is super bright. I turned it on just to like check it out and see what's going on with it, and it has all kinds of features. I haven't dove into it or messed around with it or shot with it yet, but essentially, you can pair this transmitter with multiple phone apps or iPad apps or like mobile apps. So essentially, you have automatically a wireless video feed to a mobile device. But you can also buy another Mars M1 and same thing, pair them together through the Wi-Fi signal, and you can have like a director's monitor and pull focus if you need to and do all that kind of stuff, which
Yeah.
is a thing that we we didn't lack, but we are future proofing ourselves and like moving. Like I said, we didn't upgrade, we didn't downgrade. Like we're still receiving like the same type of product type of a thing, but it has more of the features that make sense for us moving forward.
Yeah.
Like if I'm cam upping and you're ACing, you can be wireless, focus pulling or framing or, adjusting color with your phone attached to like a phone mount on the monitor through Bluetooth
Hmm.
or whatever. Like, so there's more uh, opportunities with this monitor than the Atmos. The Atmos was great because I could record ProRes on my S5, and I didn't know what to do with ProRes. I just thought, oh, cool, I can record ProRes, and
Yeah.
that was about it. Um,
It's valid.
so yeah, yeah. So that's what I've been using, and now that becomes essentially in your gear basket and gear list of things, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's our B cam monitor now because
yeah,
it all it is just it's a monitor and a recorder,
yeah,
but like that's not
yeah. We
really a.
don't. Yeah, that's my feature. Now, it was a feature that we would use in the case of my camera, you know, became toasted, and we were like, okay, we need a backup, like
It
it
was
can
an
record.
option we were looking at, though
Yeah,
you do run into an issue where the Atmos can record 4K, but only if you can get a 4K signal to it. Uh,
right. And
the Pocket
the
Cinemas
Pocket
only
6K.
output 1080p over
Mm-hmm.
their HDMI signal. So,
Yep. And you
um,
know what's funny? The Hollyland, while I had it on, it told me that. It told me the feed from my camera. Now, it in the Atmos it did, but you had to like go digging for it.
the
Like
Atmos UI is not my favorite, I will say.
it's not. It is. That is probably my least favorite thing about the Atmos Ninja V, Ninja 5, whatever, is the interface
Yeah.
because I would like where the HDMI port is on one side, I didn't have a long enough HDMI to reach over there, so I needed to flip it, but it wasn't like clearly defined how to flip the monitor like screen. Like you can completely flip it, but like I had to swipe down, tap a menu thing at the top, tap the menu thing at the bottom, and then it gave me the options of like flipping, 90s, inverting color, like the whole thing. I'm like, I really just want to hit the settings button, go to like the orientation and like, like the super like layman, like in your face way. But yeah, and again, I haven't really played with the M1, so I can't compare apples to apples just yet, but like it told me that I was only capable of doing 1080/30 or whatever it was. So that's cool. And I guess the Mars M1 has external recording or something. That's really cool. Don't need it,
Yeah.
but it's always a cool thing to have the capabilities of using.
Well, and the fact that it can, and I'm curious to kind of stress test this at some point, the fact that your phone or iPad or whatever can act as the wireless
Mm-hmm.
monitor, because a lot of these other systems, it's like it's just an HDMI in and out, so you need some kind of other screen,
Yep.
or it's a whole like self-contained other screen. We've talked multiple times about how we've got these really high quality, really nice size screens in our pockets,
Yeah.
or in the case of the iPad, like in our bags.
Yeah, in the
um
bag, yep. Or we
and
create like a nice mobile kit with an iPad.
exactly, that's basically what we had been talking about, but now we don't even need to have a receiver glued
Mm-hmm.
to the back of it. It just does it. So
Yeah.
assuming that it works well, which it seems like based on the reviews it works pretty darn well.
Yep.
um so yeah, I'm very excited to test that out. And the other thing that it does, that was part of the reason we looked at this in the first place, is a future proofing thing, because we do have a Blackmagic Pixis camera on pre-order.
Big.
That will hopefully become, maybe in the next month,
Yeah.
maybe.
Literally potentially within the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. But side effect, one thing you lose when you upgrade to a Pixis is you lose the HDMI out that
Yep.
the Pocket Cinema has. Are there ways to adapt it? Because basically you lose HDMI and instead you
Still
get,
says end of July.
still says into July. So that's within 4 weeks.
I hope we're like, I hope that we are within the first batch of shipment. Because if we're not, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
We got on the pre-order pretty quick because it was not available for pre-order until like very recently. You
Yeah,
could do like a stock notification on B&H, but the pre-order thing, you only saw that very recently. It was not there before.
yeah. So I
So
hope, hopefully we're. And I really don't know if a lot of people are gonna are gonna get the EF version.
that's a fair point. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but yeah, like you're saying, Pixis no HDMI. It
No
has
HDMI, has SDI.
SDI, SDI in, and I think it has a loop out, USB-C, Ethernet port. You know, the little cool power adapter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a 1 gig Ethernet, which is fine.
I think it is, yeah. For
Yeah,
single streaming, yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
But yeah, so that was because the combination of the fact that the Pixis doesn't have HDMI, which the Atmos is strictly an HDMI in.
yep,
It doesn't have SDI. Coupled with the fact that the Pixis doesn't have any kind of built-in monitor other than the one that's on the side, so you'd have to be like over on the side, which like you could do, but it's not ideal. We needed to have an external monitor for it that had SDI, and you just happen to find like, hey, there's this one that has SDI in and also
mm-hmm.
solves this other want that we've had,
Yep,
all in one, and was really cheap. We got it for like $400, I think. We got like
yeah,
a renewed one from eBay that was like part of the officially renewed ones. So yeah,
yeah. If you haven't noticed, like eBay is a good place. Like eBay is a good place to go. Like
yeah,
as long as you make sure you pay attention to the listing, the description, and like all the stuff you should already be paying attention to,
yeah,
uh, yeah, you're good. Like it's a good place.
yeah.
Don't be scared.
There are very few things that I'll be like, no, I need this new.
Yeah,
Some there are some things, but like lenses, the idea of buying a lens new is hilarious to me in this day and age. Like, unless it's some kind of like brand new thing of like, oh, it's the new Sigma. I forget what the focal length was, but it's like there aren't used ones. So yeah, if you want that now, you have to get it new.
something to 45, 28 to 45.
Something
I think
something
it's
in that
28 to
range.
45. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about I'm definitely gonna have to get like an 18 to 35 or something because my 17 to 55 isn't gonna work on the Pixis because it's full frame.
Because it's full frame, yeah. Hey, lucky for you,
Which
I happen to have an 18 to 35 Sigma
I was
that will
just
work
thinking
just fine
about.
on it.
I wonder if I no, it's full frame no matter what. Unless I went to like 4K DCI and the crop didn't. If the crop like took care of it, we'll test it out.
Yeah, we'll test it out.
We'll test
If
it out.
nothing else, like my Sigma could become your like kind of daily
We
driver
could like
lens.
swap.
Put
Yeah,
that on the Pixis, and then the one your whatever
17 to 55.
70 to 55, because that works just fine on the pockets.
Yeah,
So that
it
could
works
become our
great.
go-to for
What
those.
a
It's a
great lens for like $300. Yeah,
really, really nice.
17 to 55. It's external zoom, but it's f2.8 all the way through. So it's
Yeah,
pretty nice.
it's pretty lovely. All right, we got our gear in.
Yeah, we did.
We feel good. We feel better.
I feel good.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is a little bit of a departure, but this is not just a strictly like video production podcast. We've always wanted this to be
Yeah,
like this is as much about the
a little
business of what we're
educational.
doing. It's
Yeah,
educational, but it's as much about like us running the business day to day as it is how we're, technically doing what we're doing. We
yeah,
like the gear. That's why we talk about it a lot. But
yeah. I like. I, every time I tell people we met, we started a podcast, started a business, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, cool. What's the podcast about? I'm like camera gear and like tech stuff.
yep.
You won't really enjoy it too much. You're like, yeah, probably not. I'm like,
This is for the
yeah,
hardcore listeners. If
I
you are
was,
listening to this, we appreciate you. We see you, and we want to like get coffee sometime and talk more about gear with you.
I can't see you.
Now,
I don't see.
we see you in the emotional sense. You feel seen. That's what the kids call it these days, so I'm told.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna roll the music before I embarrass myself anymore. Thank you guys so much for listening
4th of July.
and watching. Happy 4th of July.
America.
This is Follow Focus, a Purple Donut Studios podcast. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.